Hello Virgo, thank you very much for tuning into your general read. For the main part of the read, I'm using the Modern Spellcaster's Tarot by Melanie Marquis, illustrated by Scott Murphy. For the supportive Oracle cards, the Angel Answers Oracle cards by Doreen Virtue and Radley Valentine. Okay. Already shuffled, let's see what we got for Virgo. Alright, you have the Nine of Pentacles at the bottom, which to me a lot of times says a situation that's in a good place but you're not really happy with it. It's usually getting ready to transition somewhere else. 9 is an ending usually, but when it comes to this card, I don't hold myself to the 9 rule. I usually, a lot of times with this card, it's like something that the situation itself is good, but you're not content, you're not happy with it for some reason or other. So let's keep that in mind going forward here. That's, stop. Alright. That's interesting, how this, let's see how it goes, because it's going to progress as it goes. You don't have really an overall energy, but let's see how it's going, because there's a part up here that I'm really curious how that's playing out, because it seems like a negative outcome or situation you're having an optimistic or positive viewpoint about. So we'll find out why soon enough. You're coming into this with the Page of Wands. I'm getting you put in a lot of effort here, and you're seeing that come through to fruition. And you're seeing things going the way they should be due to the effort you've put to it. That makes sense. I'm also getting here peaceful resolution and the no. Because when I'm looking at these, this is all together as one, I feel like you're very happy with how things are working out because you're not letting the little things get to you. And you're holding back, but it's paying off. There's a peaceful resolution because you're telling yourself, no, I'm not going to cause problems, I'm not going to say anything. And oddly enough, I feel like you're looking at it and like, it would be right for you to say something and, you know, call people out for what they're doing, but you're like, you know what? The situation's working out. I'm just going to let it be. You're getting a peaceful resolution by just keeping yourself out of it as much as possible. I feel like you're doing more work than not in this situation. You're putting in the elbow grease is what I'm getting from it. Because you're doing that, I don't feel like you're complaining about it. You're seeing it. And you're like, you know what? I'd rather just have a peaceful resolution. I'd rather just people get along. It's just, there's no point to it. I feel like you're looking at it that way. Like, there's no point to it. But I do feel like you're doing a lot of the work there. But you're just like, for the whole purpose of not wanting to argue for the most part. And there's other people involved, and that's another factor here. You're kind of like, you know what, I'm not going to be the one who starts the situation and gets blamed for it. When it's not really anything I'm doing wrong, it's the person, but I'm calling that person out so it looks like it's me. I just feel like the way this is being perceived, you're like, you know what, it's just not worth it. I'll just do it, and we'll move on. That'll be fine. I do next, though, on your side, get the Queen of Swords. Even though you're doing that, and I feel like you're holding back, the Queen of Swords is, yes, both the King and Queen of Swords, in my opinion, if they've decided they don't want to say something, they're not going to say something. People can try to push them or try to trick them into saying things, but usually way ahead of the game on that. And this energy for you is telling me that you're very sound of mind, and you're very quick with the how you can redirect the flow if you need to. Like, you know when somebody's trying to get your goat, they're not playing. You're not playing. And I'm also looking at, there's the counter card on the other side. I'm getting the Seven of Pentacles, but I get this is how you're relating to this. Like, you know what? This person or people, it's probably a person, but if it's people, like it could be a group of like people, you'll know whatever's working for you. But you're looking at it like, you know what? I'm not saying anything. And you know what? One of the reasons I'm not saying anything is because this is how it always works out. Doesn't matter if it's happened to me, to them, to somebody else. They do this They do this all the time. This is just who they are. There's no point in me saying anything. It's not going to change that behavior. and I want this to work out. That's why I did put in that elbow grease to make this work, because I wanted it to work out. And for that reason, like, I feel like you have a very, I want to say, mature attitude towards it. Like, you know what? The bottom line is, I want this to work out. The people you're working with, or whoever that is, you're like, this is always how this works out. But I'm not centering on that. I want this to work out. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do what I need to do. And because of your efforts, the situation does work out the way you'd like it to. Justice. Your effort brings about a great moment. Now, I'm seeing this happen. This moment seems to come and go. You're very happy about that. But I'm getting the King of Swords here. Now, you go from the King, from the Queen to the King. The difference in these two is going from an emotional to a more analytical state. I feel in the beginning you're just kind of like, you know what? The people I'm connected with, I care too much about, it's not worth the emotional upset. Neither of these are, when I view in a reading sense, neither of these outrank the other. I know, hierarchy, blah, blah, blah. But when I'm reading for people, with these two come up, one doesn't outrank the other, if you follow me. It's how they handle things. The first one is like, it matters to you how people are affected by this emotionally. It's not worth getting people upset. That seems to be the motive. After the situation, after it's passed by, I'm getting you're having more of an analytical, like you're reviewing it, and I feel like there's something here that's still sticking in your craw, and you're kind of like, you know what? The situation's said and done. It's over. But, I really don't like that I have to actually deal with this energy. I don't like that I have to deal with this person. And you're starting to think, like, what do I need to do, since I'm the one doing all the effort anyway when that person's involved? What do I need to do to change this to where, you know what, if I'm going to be the one doing all the work, I might as well get all the credit too. I might as well not even let it look like the other person's doing something, because why do that? Why let somebody else take the credit when they're not really doing anything? I'm the one who's doing this effort. So I feel like you're going from the beginning, you're like, you know what, it's not my goal to upset people. It's not my goal in this situation. I put in this effort for a good moment, and I'm going to have that moment, and I'm not going to do anything that's going to just derail that because this other person's always this way. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to let emotions cause an issue. Because I feel like, I don't know if this is coming off right. I think that's why I keep coming back to it. Because it's not a negative thing. You're not doing anything negative. You're feeling people are going to get upset, and it's just going to get misdirected, and it's going to be kind of like people are projecting emotions in the wrong place, and it's not worth it. After the fact, though, you're just like, all right, I did this, but I did all the work, and what do I need to do to not have to deal with this person in this arena again? So you're going forward, and all right, I think I'm understanding why this is happening here. Now, this is a card that's always seen as negative. I get that. But how it's going to affect you turns out to be a positive. So hold on with me here for a second so I can get to that part. In the near future, soon after this moment, I think that's what the near future is saying. Soon after this moment, you're doing what you need to do to separate yourself from that person so you don't have to be the one who, like, does all the work and gets half the credit. You're pulling them out of it. You're pushing them out of it. Whatever you need to do, it's justly done. Because soon after, you're analyzing it. You're just like, you know what? There's no reason for that. Why give them half the credit when I do all the work? Or even if it's like you do 70, 75% of the work, you might as well just do it on your own. It's kind of how you're looking at it. Might as well just do it on my own. I feel like I'm doing it on my own anyway. So you're telling that other person, that's the last time we're doing something like this together. I'll just do it on my own. Or, because I'm getting there, they're telling me a little more here. I feel like the majority of you are actually going, that's the last time you and I do this together. I've got somebody else who can help me, who will actually help me. Because I feel like you're not coy about it. Because if they push back and they're like, why? You're like, well, because I do 80% of what's going on here. It's anywhere between 70 to 80%. I don't know why I'm changing the percents, but I am. I'm doing the majority of what's going on here. If I'm going to have somebody help me, I want somebody to actually help me. You're not doing enough. I feel like I'm doing it on my own, and why give you half the credit when I'm doing all the work? I feel like I'm doing all the work. 70%, 80%, whatever it is, you're still feeling like it's all you and it's little them. So the Three of Swords, this person and you, I feel like you're this is causing a moment. Like, I don't feel like there's an argument. I feel like you're unhappy with this person and they know it. And you're telling them, you know what, I'm going to find somebody else to help me next time. Just so you know, I just don't want you surprised when I do that in the future. Because this is soon after this event, you're saying that. And the other side, that person seems to be off to the side. I feel like they're kind of dumbfounded. And I'm not really getting, like, where they're standing. I get that they're dumbfounded. They didn't expect you to do that. But it goes in a few different ways on why. I feel like I don't know. It feels weird because I'm getting like one situation is where they're just kind of used to kind of lagging along and still being able to do that. People just accepting that that's how they do things and they get away with it. Others, I feel like they're just like, they feel like they've done enough. I get a weird energy here. Like, it's a weird, like, they're a little dumbfounded. They did not expect you to do that. But this is where your side pops in. Two of Cups. You're extremely happy to move this person out of the situation. You're staying in it because you like it and you want to do it. But you want somebody else to help you who's actually going to help you, in your opinion. That's what I'm feeling. And the ask for help from others is like, don't wait till next time. Start looking now for that person. I'm getting that's what this is. Because I feel like you're going to do it anyway, try to find somebody to help you. But I'm also getting like, do it now. Find that person now. Because I feel like you might have more than one person interested. And it'll just work out to your benefit. I don't feel like that's a problem. If more than one person wants to help, I don't feel like that's a problem. Because like, from going from like 70, 80% of doing it yourself to doing maybe like 30 to 40% works for me. I feel like that's how you'd be like, works for me. That sounds great to me. I feel like the ask for help from others, like, you don't need to wait till the next time it comes around. Ask now. Talk to people now. Get it in their thought now. Because I feel like especially you're one who plans ahead well. You get used to things. You get, excited about things. You can find other people who fit your energy that way. And I feel like that'll work out a lot better for you. Now, this situation is going to be fine. The situation itself, because I feel like it does come around again. This is something you do often, or this type of situation. For the other side, I am getting, with this Four of Cups and this perfect timing, you're giving this person a chance to see what they do and how it affects people. I'm not saying they're going to agree with you, but I am getting in this reading that you're doing them a favor by not putting up with it. By putting your foot down and saying, you know what, I'm going to find somebody else. Because I feel like this is what this person needs. They need to see that they can't just lag along or expect people just to accept it and let them do what they want. And then they just get to float along. This needs to come forward to them. They need to see this. They need to be treated like this, in the sense of like they need to see what their actions are causing, how they're affecting others. And I'm going to say again, I know this is a general read, but I'm not going to guarantee, of course, especially since it's a general read, but everybody has their own thoughts, of course. This should, excuse me, this should wake this person up to see what they're doing. It's giving them a chance to address the behavior and start changing it. Because I feel like this person hits a lot of roadblocks in their life for this type of attitude. If they want to accept that that's how they're going to live life, that's who they are, that's how it is, that's their business, but they're going to have to deal with the repercussions for being that way. And I feel like you're giving that flat out, you're just telling them flat out, you're being very honest. I don't feel like you're being mean. I just feel like you're being honest. I'm going to find somebody else to help me because you're not helping me enough. I feel like I'm doing it on my own. And I feel like this is a wake-up call. This is their chance for this other person to realize, you know what? I got a few things in my life not going right. This is not the only situation in their life that they treat like this. That's the point. You're giving this person a chance to like wake up and see what they're doing, see why their life is where it is, because I feel like there's problems. I'm connecting somebody here as having a problem. They're questioning why their life is the way it is, you're giving them a kick in the butt. Like, this is why your life is how it is. This is why, because you're calling it in. You're expecting people to pick up the slack for you, and you're sick of it and you move on. This is their chance to wake up and see what they're doing. You're actually doing them a favor, in my opinion, because I feel like the life here is not the best, and they're questioning, like, I don't understand why my life is so crazy or not what I want it to be. Well, you just gave them the kick in the butt to wake them up to be like, this is why, because you're calling it in and you're expecting other people to do things for you, and you're putting in quarter effort. It's not worth it. It's not fair. Now, I get, as this situation moves on, because you are moving on in this direction, this is what I'm feeling. You're moving on from this. You're doing what you said we're going to do. This person is still in your life, however they are. When it comes to that situation, they're not a part of that situation, but I still feel you're affected, or you deal with them in some respect, whatever that means. And I feel like there's a little bit of distance there, but I don't feel like you're upset about it. You're just kind of like, you know what, it is what it is. I feel like you're cordial to each other. I really don't feel any animosity either way, to be honest with you. But I feel like you both might be a little standoffish from the other. You're kind of standoffish because you're like, yeah, you know, I've kind of had my fill of you for a while. The other person's kind of like, I feel like they're just kind of, they might still be a little dumbfounded. They might be a little embarrassed because you called them out on something that they needed to be called out on it. And they're a little standoffish because they're a little embarrassed about it. Either way, I feel like this is okay. I'm not getting any permanent damage here, but for example, if you were slowly moving apart anyway from this person, it's just kind of giving it a kick a little farther, and it's just gonna keep going. If it's just something that ebbs and flows with this person for you, it's just another ebb and flow. Like I'm getting whatever the pattern was prior to this moment, it's just continuing on. So if you were like moving farther and farther apart, yeah, it's gonna go even farther apart after this. But if it's just something that ebbs and flows like that, then it'll come back around again. It's just nothing to worry about. Depends on the pattern you've seen with this person for you. Okay. I think we're good. I'm going to wrap it up there. Thank you for watching. Of course, if you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. James, the number 4, astral@gmail.com. Thank you.